Hello and welcome to another edition of the GNBS in 30. First, I'd like to ask you a question. Do you know what is technical assistance? In this edition of the GNBS in 30, we will be telling you all about our technical assistance service, about our standards development process, our outreach programs to the various regions, and our Standards in Academia program that we launched in primary schools this month. Do stay tuned. My name is Bibi Khatun, Communications Officer at the GNBS. To start off this edition of GNBS in 30, we will be speaking with our Head of Business Development Department, Mr. Umesh Pavakun.
All right, thank you so much, Bibi. It's always a pleasure joining you for GNBS in 30.
Thank you for joining me too, and let's get right into it. Tell our viewers, what is technical assistance?
All right, Bibi. So technical assistance is a service that the GNBS provides through our business development department. And what that basically tells you is that we're able to work with you to develop systems or put systems in place for you as you head into certification or accreditation. So currently we provide technical assistance for a number of international standards, including ISO 9001 being your quality management system, ISO 45001 being your occupational health and safety management system. Then there's ISO 14001 for your environmental management system, ISO 22000 for your food safety management system, and I could go on, but there are quite a number of international standards that we provide technical assistance for. In terms of the local standards that we provide technical assistance for, that would be for GYS 170, which is the General Operations for a Laboratory. Now, of course, you know the GNBS Certification Services Department provides certification to that specific standard. But just in case you need a little extra help, or you need some help in getting your systems ready, you can actually reach out to business development to provide you with that assistance, as we call it, technical assistance.
Thank you, Umesh. That's quite a lot of work for your department. I'm sure you have your work cut out.
Quite so.
How can companies access this service?
Right, so it's actually quite easy to access this service. Now, our marketing department usually puts out a lot of notices to tell you that the service is available, but just to get into the actual groove of things and tell you how you can access the service, you can actually just reach out to the business development department, indicate an interest, and we will actually get a ball rolling from there. Basically, you have to just fill out a form, which is our technical assistance request form. And it's just really for formality, also to provide us with some additional information in terms of a little bit about your company and your implementation team and what system you actually want to work with. We get that. As soon as we get that, we actually start working on preparing a proposal to get started on the program for you. It's just a matter of reaching out to us, letting us know what you want, and then we can get moving from there.
Umesh, are there eligibility criteria for persons or companies to apply?
As a matter of fact, there aren't any specific eligibility criteria. As long as you have a business or you have something some kind of operation, you can actually reach out to us and talk to us about which management system would be more applicable to you. Majority of persons, they actually go for ISO 9001, which is the quality management system, and that one is really applicable to any organization or any business as long as you're aiming to meet customers' requirements. So there's ISO 9001, but then there are the others which we can actually advise you on as you tell us a little bit more about the organization. Generally speaking though, to answer your question, there are no specific eligibility criteria. The only one I can figure right now is that you should have a business or an organization that is operating.
Yes, and it's important if you want to implement quality, if you want to ensure your standards are up to par, that you want to implement one of these standards, or you want to access technical assistance from the business development department. You just apply.
Right, so you just apply. One of the things I actually forgot are the ways that you can actually make contact with the department. You can actually reach out to one of our numbers, 219-0064-66. The extension is 304. You can get onto the person at our front desk. She'd be able to direct you to which officer you can talk to if there's an available officer. And of course, you can actually reach out to myself. Well, she will transfer you to me so that we can talk a bit more as to what management system would be best for your organization.
Okay, I have a company, I get past that part of it. Tell me about the process. How long does it take, and what is it that you will be doing for the company?
All right, so that's actually an excellent question, Bibi. It's a question that many persons ask whenever they're finding out about the technical assistance program. Just backtracking a little bit, after you would have filled up that form and of course submitted it to us, what happens is that an officer is actually going to an officer is assigned to you, and that officer reaches out to you to find out a bit more about your organization, any additional information that could help us to develop the proposal. Now, the proposal is actually going to contain pricing, which may be, it actually varies for different organizations of different sizes and complexities. So, of course, you let us know about your organization, and then we can prepare that, put that information in that proposal. If everything is good with you, on that proposal, we can actually move ahead to the next step. However, if there are things that you still want to rehash, you can always reach out to us so that we can meet and just make some subtle changes, make some changes wherever necessary. In terms of costing and everything, some organizations or some persons may see that a proposal has a payment schedule that they're not comfortable with, or they may want to change it. There's always that option. I usually tell persons, this is not set in stone. We're not here to hound you down for anything. We're here to assist you. So if there's some way that we can assist you in terms of costing, if there's some way that we can assist you in terms of breaking things down a little bit, just reach out to us and we can actually have that meeting to do that. So now let's say you're past all of that. What is the next step? What we usually do in business development as part of this program is that we head into an awareness session with the employees. Now, a point to remember is that while top management or representatives from the organization are the ones responsible for developing the system, it's the employees who are the ones who will actually be running with the system. So what we do is that we provide that awareness session so they can understand their importance and what they have to do exactly. So you know, when the system does come on board, people are not blindsided or they just don't know what to do. At least they have that touch base with us and touch base with upper management, so to say, so they can understand what is it that they have to do for this specific management system. After we do that awareness session, which by the way doesn't last very long, it's about 2 hours in whatever day that you decide as the organization. After we finish that, we do a gap analysis to see, it's kind of like an audit, just to see where you are currently in the system. If you have any of the clauses of the standard, any part of the standard, or any part of the system that is currently working for you, and then to see where the specific gaps are. And those gaps are the ones that we work towards filling. After we do the gap analysis, we provide you with a report, of course, and an implementation plan, which is kind of like a schedule to show you how we're going to be doing work with you. From there, we move into the next step, which is training you on understanding the requirements of the standard that you're working with, whether it's the international standard or it's the local standard. So we provide you with that training. That training is usually about 3 days to understand the requirements of any of these standards. Following that, we move straight into documentation. Documentation, getting all of your processes in place, getting all of the documents that you need in place that are required by the standard as well as required by you as the organization. And right after doing that, we go into implementation. You have your documents now, so you have your documents, your process, and all of that. We move straight into implementation. During implementation, we work with you to apply most of these documents, most of these processes and whatnot into the actual system with the people on the ground so that they can start using them, working with them. And then during that implementation phase, we also do an additional training, which is internal auditing of your specific management system. This prepares you now to do your own internal audits. You don't necessarily have to go elsewhere or outsource to anybody else. You can do your own internal audits. Even if you notice something is wrong with your system, you can do your own internal audits rather than going elsewhere. Of course, you can come to the GNBS to do your internal audits for you, but we actually help people out in that we prepare them to do their own internal audits, and then from there they can move forward. After we do that training, you do your own internal audits and a management review, and then we have what we call a pre-assessment audit. So this pre-assessment audit is not done by business development; it is done by our certification services team, and this is more geared for those international management systems such as ISO 9001, 45001, 14001, and so on. So our certification services department does a pre-assessment audit to see if you're actually meeting the requirements of the standard, so to say. If there are certain non-conformities, as we like to call them, you're free to come back to us. There's no additional charge, additional cost to you. You can come back to business development and we can assist you to right some wrongs or right some things that still need to be fixed. And then at the end of that, after you're done, after everything has been fixed, we sign you off saying that you're ready. You can move on to your certification body.
What's the minimum timeline that it can take, or the maximum depending on the company?
All right, so there are some organizations which can take as little as 4 months if you give us the people to work with, all of the resources. When I say resources, I mean the actual persons, the person for documentation, give us access to information that we need to work with you. So in as little as 4 months, then the persons can go as long as 12 months. Usually we don't go past 12 months given the fact that the process usually takes about that 4 to the 12 months. Generally speaking, though, majority of persons have taken around 6 to 9 months. All right, just putting that out there. If you are ready and willing, you have systems in place, you have the people ready to work with us, we can finish this in as little as 4 months. But if you just want to, take it a bit slow, just to ensure that everybody's on board with the system and everybody understands what they're doing, it can go up to 12 months.
Of course, if you have a company, if you're working with a company looking to implement a management system, be sure to reach out to the GNBS and we can provide technical assistance. As Umesh explained, we make it as easy as possible. You might see a lot of words and forms and get frustrated, but we are here to help you. We make it as easy as possible to go through the processes and ensure that your company is at that point where it's ready to get certified. So now, one of the companies that we recently worked with is Sivon's. Umesh, this was really a proud moment for you to work with Sivon's Waste Management, and they recently got their ISO accreditation or certification.
Certification.
Yes. How was that process?
Right, baby. So Sivon's did actually receive their certification a little while ago. We finished working with them as of last December, as a matter of fact. And immediately after we finished working with them and we saw that everything was good, they moved on to their certification body. Now, I was there for the certification, and trust me, I felt extremely proud knowing that we were able to work with them to get them ready to actually be certified to ISO 9001. It was actually one of my proudest moments, as a matter of fact. Whenever any company that we work with gets certified, I feel so extremely proud to know that we were able to do something for them. And for those companies that are actually looking, for those persons who are from companies that are looking right now, you can actually, for yourself, come to the GNBS, find out what is it that we offer, talk to a technical officer, talk to somebody from the GNBS, find out how is it that we can assist you, and I'm pretty sure that you'll feel that sense of satisfaction once you get that certification, maybe in about 6 to 12 months.
All right, thank you very much, Umesh. We were able to get some footage from the Sivon's handing over ceremony of the ISO certification, so let's take a look at that.
Management, members of GNBS, the Private Sector Commission, Georgetown Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Guyana Oil and Gas Chambers, special invitees and members of the media. I'm honored to welcome you today to our ISO 9001-2015 certification ceremony.
This is indeed a tremendous achievement for our company. This was due to the vision and commitment of the ownership and management of the company, and the dedication and hard work of our employees and the partners who supported us throughout this effort. Guyana National Bureau of Standards and our certifying body, Global Compliance Services. Our mission is to provide our customers with exceptional waste management collection and disposal services that protect, preserve, and improve the quality of life in Guyana and for all Guyanese. Our pursuit of this mission is what led us to become ISO 9001-2015 certified, and also to winning the very prestigious National Quality Award for Environmental Initiatives and Services in 2021. Additionally, to be granted this certification reiterates our standards as it relates to quality management and processes, customer service experience, as well as employees' performance in productivity is of a global standard.
Sivon's Waste Management actually participated in a number of the GNBS's National Quality Awards, as you would have seen in the last shot of them receiving an award at the last NQA. As we move on with the program, you can remember earlier in the year we spoke about our outreach program to the various regions, something that we are restarting this year as the COVID-19 pandemic subsides. With that, we have recently visited the Cinderella County of Essequibo. While there, we met with the Essequibo Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We launched our Standards in Academia program in the primary schools, and we also conducted school lectures in the secondary school. In this last outreach, we partnered with the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission, the Consumer Affairs Department, and other agencies. Let's take a look at the highlights.
There's a lot of information we would have learned concerning the standards and what the CCAC and GNBS is about and what is coming on the coast to do, and in collaboration in the future with the Essequibo Chamber of Commerce to have a better impact on consumers and businesses here on the Essequibo coast. It was also good to meet the Consumer Affairs Department and the Commerce Department in this meeting to address key issues on the Essequibo coast and countrywide. We look forward to continuously working together for the betterment of the business and consumers alike on the coast.
On behalf of the entire 11 business, we would like to present our profound gratitude for the information you presented to us this afternoon.
As students of the business stream, we promise to apply this knowledge when we become future entrepreneurs to promote quality standards in Guyana and ensure our future consumers will be receiving quality products.
As you would have seen in that video, we also engaged the primary schools. This year, we are launching their Standards in Academia program. It is the second program. It's hosted biannually, and it's for primary school pupils. The program is being run in 20 schools in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. We are rolling out the program, which will culminate with a quiz competition on standards. Starting in March, we distributed booklets to head teachers across the selected schools, which will be taught to the students and form part of the questions for the competition. The competition will be hosted in May and June, starting at the level of the region before the final is held. The program was collaboratively piloted by the GNBS and the Ministry of Education in 2018. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the program was not held in 2020, and again we're doing it in 2022. We look forward to a successful Standards in Academia program. As we educate you on standards, we thought now is a good time to tell you all about the standards development process. Earlier this month, we engaged our technical officers in the standardization department, and in this interview, here is all you need to know about standards and how you can participate in the process. I have two wonderful technical officers from our standardization department, Ms. Joanne Pelchit and Ms. Selena Arjun. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having us with you.
Okay, and can we get right into it? Tell us why standards are important.
Standards are important because they help to improve the quality of goods and services available to consumers.
Yes, and also the standards are important in that they ensure public and industrial welfare, health and safety.
Standards guide the labeling of products. For example, we have this electric kettle, and you will notice on the bottom of this kettle it includes certification mark, the voltage at which this can be used, and the country of origin as well as the brand name. It is important for users to read these information when purchasing items so as to ensure that it meets the requirements that you're looking for. How is it that we go about deciding to develop a standard?
We go about deciding to develop a standard once a request comes in from any interested bodies, whether a consumer organization or manufacturer or regulatory agency. The request comes in to develop a standard, whether a technical specification, terminology, or test methods to regularize that particular product or service.
Okay, so that means anyone can decide to request
Correct.
a standard. Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about what is done after the form is submitted?
After the form is submitted, we evaluate it to determine the priority for the development of that standard. It is evaluated based on the stakeholders' perceived and future needs in keeping with National Development Plan and policies.
Thank you. As mentioned by Selena, anyone can request the development of a new standard. This is done by submitting a new work item proposal, a form which is found on our website. There are certain things that should be included. For example, the form which looks like this, it asks for your name and your contact information, a justification of why the standard is required, the purpose of the standard, of course, if there are certain things that should be covered by the standard and certain things that should not be covered by the standard, and also if it's a product, certain dimensions that you think should be included in the standard, among other information. Yes, Selena, so what happens after a proposal is submitted?
After the proposal is submitted, we evaluate it to determine the development for that standard. It is evaluated based on the stakeholders' future and perceived needs in keeping with national development plans and policy, and also the social and economic importance for the development of that standard. The standard is sent to our National Standards Council for consideration whether to approve or reject that proposal. If it is rejected, we inform the proposers and the reasons for the rejection. If it's approved, it is assigned to a technical officer like myself or Joanne, and we start by preparing our project plan for the development of that standard. The project plan starts with the drafting of a technical committee. The technical committee is a group of stakeholders from the field of consumers, manufacturers, regulatory agencies, and NGOs to ensure that effective representation is comprised in that technical committee.
That's a mouthful, and seems like the standardization department has a whole host of work to get completed.
Yes, we do.
You use some research documents, the technical committee, to get this done. Can you tell us more about that aspect?
We research international or regional standards or other credible source of information to prepare a committee draft. That committee draft is circulated to the technical committee for the review and subsequent approval. Once the technical committee reviews and approves that document, it is now called an inquiry draft or a draft Guyana standard. We advertise it for a minimum period of 60 days. We advertise it via the GNBS social media pages, the press, and GNBS website.
That 60 days you're speaking about, that's public consultations where anybody from the public can make their comments about the standard when they will be affected by a standard, I presume.
Yes, during this stage, the public consultation phase, what happens, as we said, the standard is advertised for at least 60 days. At this stage, we invite all stakeholders, the general public, to review the document, which we post on our website. Right, the draft is there, available on our website, and a comment sheet. And any person during this time can review the document and submit their comments to us, the GNBS, into the standardization department. Right, and in that way, the public helps to develop the standard. Because if you remember, at the committee phase, we only have a small group of stakeholders at the table. But when we move to inquiry, a larger group of stakeholders can participate.
Thank you, Joanne, for taking that question. Can you help us out with what happens after the 60-day period?
What happens is the
all of the comments that would have been received from the public, we put them on a comments sheet and we bring them to the committee to dispose of the comments. That means the committee will address each of the comments, they will review each of them in turn and determine if the comments are valid or not. If the comment is valid, they may make those changes in the draft standard, and in this way the public comments are used to develop the national standard. After that, the final draft is prepared when the disposition of the comments is completed, right? And the final draft is sent to the National Standards Council for approval as a national standard. And there you have the standardization process.
I must mention that the National Standards Council that Joanne referred to is the governing body for the GNBS that has the final approval. There are, Joanne, I understand, standards, international standards that we may adopt in some cases. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes, in the case where there is an international standard that is needed for the adoption as a national standard, what happens in this case, it is put before a committee again, and they will decide we will just develop this standard as is. We will just adopt it as is. In this case, we don't advertise it to the public for 60 days. We just advertise for 30 days, informing the public that this standard will be adopted as a national standard.
The GNBS works in collaboration with regional and international bodies, as I mentioned before. So it might not be the smartest thing to go and, what we say, reinvent the wheel.
That's exactly it.
Yes. So if there is a standard relating to a product, somebody wants a standard for here.
Yes.
We do our research.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of standards available at the GNBS for various sectors, including tourism, agriculture, craft, construction, even for clinical and testing laboratories, which are management system standards. And these standards are used either by persons who just want to increase the confidence in their businesses, those are voluntary standards, or compulsory standards, which are used by regulating agencies to regulate whichever sector they're responsible for. How can persons who are interested be able to view and access these standards?
They can view and access these standards by accessing our standards portal, which is our online standards database platform. Here on the standards portal, you can search standards based on the field, such as agriculture, chemical, and such more. And also on the portal, you have a scope of the standard. So you just have a preview to see if the standard is applicable for you. You can see the applicability and the limitations of that standard.
Thank you to our hard-working standardization department and our technical officers, Joanne and Selena. Now, standards are the basis for everything the GNBS does. This includes certification. The GNBS in March certified the Caribbean Surgery Inc. Laboratory, our newest clinical laboratory to be certified by the GNBS, to the GYS 170 standard. So far for 2022, our certification department has recertified 4 laboratories for maintaining the requirements of the national standard. The GNBS takes this opportunity to encourage more laboratories to get certified to the GYS 170 standard. Let's take a look at the video from our newest clinical laboratory to get certified.
I'd just like to thank Dr. Prasad for believing that I could have done this and giving me the opportunity to be able to do it, and for the tremendous support. Without their support, I would not have been able to come this far. Support not only from the management team, but all members of this organization. I mean, some way or another, they have all assisted in some small way or another in helping me to come here today.
First of all, on behalf of Guyana National Bureau of Standard, I would like to congratulate management and team of Caribbean Surgery Inc. for actually achieving certification towards the GYS 170 2009 standard. Now, this certification period is for 2 years. During these 2 years, of course, the certification department will conduct 3 surveillance audits to ensure that you're keeping in conformance to the standard. Also, I would like to urge you to aim for continual improvement And this can be done through internal auditing, corrective action, preventive action, and also management review.
As we bring this edition of the GNBS in 30 to a close, I would like to remind all users of weighing and measuring devices that the mobile stamping for the first half of 2022 has been completed. Starting from April, our inspectors will be visiting shops and markets to ensure that all weighing and measuring devices are stamped for the first half of 2022. In this case, devices which are not stamped will be removed. Persons who have measuring instruments that they're using for trade and that you have not yet stamped, remember you can bring them to our Sophia Exhibition site main office or our regional offices across the country. Be sure to get those devices stamped. And remember, applications are still open for the Made in Guyana mark. This is the Made in Guyana certification mark, which you can apply for to ensure that your products are certified as Made in Guyana, that you can affix that trademark onto your products to boost customer confidence and increase your profits. Yes, the GNBS is set to grant that unique mark to several companies from April onward. And if you need to get onto us, our numbers are 219-0064-266. And of course, our WhatsApp number is 692-4627 or 692-GNBS. Thank you for joining another edition of the GNBS in 30.